That study was done by Microsoft Labs. You know how we say you'll often hear like, oh, just take a break. And, because we often, when we're feeling a sense of burnout, an atypical burnout, an inability to disconnect from work, right? And then it's like, how are you going to get yourself back on track? I call it the Goldilocks principle. I talk about it in the 5 resets. Human productivity functions on a curve. It's not linear. It's not like, okay, like I'm going to just keep being productive. There's actually a bell-shaped curve for stress, as there is a bell-shaped curve for human productivity. And so if you think about one side, the y-axis as human productivity and the x-axis as stress, it's a bell-shaped curve. So when we are to the left of the curve, we're not feeling very motivated, we're bored, we're apathetic, chances are you're not going to be very productive. When you are to the far right of the curve, you're highly stressed, you're anxious, many of us are feeling this way, you're not going to be very productive. There is a sweet spot of human productivity right in the middle of that bell-shaped curve, and that is the Goldilocks principle, the just right part of stress and human productivity. Now, many of us are to the right of the curve. We are anxious and keyed up and stressed out, and we're not very productive. So how do we bring the science into everyday life and apply it to our life? We can't just like chill out and like go for a month to Bali for a surfing holiday. Wish I could. Can't do it. Can't, spend 6 months eating my way through Italy or hanging out in the Himalayas in a retreat. All of these things are my dreams. You have financial constraints, you have constraints with your family, obligations, all of these things. And so we can't do all of those things to suddenly scale back into that sweet spot of human productivity. So what can we do? We can honor our breaks. And there was a study by Microsoft done not too long ago, which showed that even taking 10-minute breaks, like 3 to 4 10-minute breaks throughout the day, can have a cumulative impact on your stress and can help with your mood, productivity, sense of engagement. So it's not like, oh, breaks are nice to have. They should be an essential part of your workday because it helps manage your stress in the workday. It is a way to honor your breaks, to get back into that sweet spot of human productivity so that you can have just right stress. And with that idea of just right stress, I want to make a point that not all stress is bad. Stress isn't the enemy. Our cultural perception of it is. There is good stress and bad stress. Good stress is adaptive stress. That's the scientific term for healthy, good stress. Bad stress is maladaptive stress. That is the scientific term. Everything good in your life was created because of a little bit of stress. Like you started this podcast, something really positive. You met your girlfriend, also something positive. You may have made a new friend as an adult, wonderful and positive. Cheering for your favorite sports team, also a positive thing. Now, when we think of the word stress in modern culture, we think about bad stress. Bad stress are all of the things that we already know, right? Like the feelings that we've talked about. But the goal of life is not to live a life without stress, because that is biologically impossible. Our brains and our bodies need stress to survive. It is to live a life with healthy, manageable stress. It's to move away from unhealthy stress back to healthy stress.